episode 494 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Gonna be talking about tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision. The American Dragon vs. Absolute and the AEW TBS Championship was on the line. Statlander vs. Baker. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello there, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic for tonight. And Saturday nights all right for fighting. Because on this episode of the podcast, going to be talking about tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision, which was tonight on TBS. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. Tonight, AEW Saturday Collision was live at the Bryce Jordan Center in State College, Pennsylvania. To kick things off, we get the usual promos that are pre-recorded with the superstars that will be participating on tonight's show. The Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli, the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, Big Bill, Absolute Ricky Starks, the AEW crew, can't talk for some reason. The AEW TBS Champion Chris Statlander, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the Dark Order, and the Acclaimed Billy Gunn. And our first match of the night. But first, our commentators tonight, Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness. And now on to our first match of the night. Big Bill and Absolute Ricky Starks taking on the American Dragon Bryan Danielson and Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli. Pretty good match here. I thought good tag team action. I enjoyed this match. And Ricky Starks hitting Danielson with a low blow and then hits him with Rochambeau to get the win. It's kind of, I have to admit, a surprising upset victory here. Starks pinning Danielson, which, of course, I'm sure this feud is going to be continuing on Collision. Pretty good opener here. I'd say 3 out of 5 ring bells. Next up, we have interviews with the Mogul Embassy and the Young Bucks. Next Friday on the Grand Slam episode of AEW Rampage, the Mogul Embassy, Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage will be taking on the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page. We get a pre-taped promo from Powerhouse Hobbs talking about the Book of Hobbs, and then Miro. These were pretty good promos, I thought, from both superstars. And next up, the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, taking on Iron Savages. And pretty good match here, surprisingly. I was impressed with Iron Savages, but it is FTR getting the win against Iron Savages. I'll give it 3 out of 5 ring bells. And then we get an interview backstage with Limitless Keith Lee that was interrupted by Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. And this next match was originally supposed to be Evil Uno, but instead we have John Silver representing the Dark Order taking on Anthony Bowens of the Acclaimed. The stipulation was if the member of the Dark Order were to defeat the member of the Acclaimed, that Dark Order would receive a shot at the AEW Trios Championships. John Silver has the contract with them, and he says they didn't read the fine print because Max Caster and Billy Gunn are banned from ringside. And just to note, that is kind of funny, but nobody from the Dark Order came to the ring with John Silver. So that was kind of something a little fishy right there. But we did end up seeing Evil Uno. The referee was distracted at the time. Evil Uno comes out from under the ring and attacks Anthony Bowens, giving Silver the assist to win the match. So, not sure when just yet. If they announced it, I must have missed it, but the Dark Order should now be getting a shot at the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn. We have a pre-taped promo from Eddie Kingston, which is pretty good. And once again, we see the FTW champion Hook and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. And Hook has a bag of Doritos. Probably going to say the name wrong, but Flamas, is it? I know we sell it at the store here. We sell it at our store, but is it Flamas? I think one of the hot flavors. And they want to team together in a tag match or something, as Orange said. And Hook says, sure, they're going to do it at Grand Slam. So this should be a pretty entertaining match between those two. Aussie Open defeat PB Smooth and Wes Barkley. quick match here, and not going to rate this one, but after the match, Aussie Open called out FTR for a match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships for October 1st at the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. And then we get this interview kind of segment with Toni Storm, where she's being interviewed by RJ City and acting like she's this real big movie star. And I thought it was pretty good. Toni Storm working this heel character pretty good so far. And next up we have Scorpio Sky taking on Andrade El Idolo. Let me just say, I was definitely impressed by this match. This match was really good. I definitely recommend you checking it out if you did not see this match on Collision tonight. It was definitely a lot better than I expected it to be. Really good match. And Andrade gets the win, defeating Scorpio Sky. I think I'll have to give it 4 out of 5 ring bells. It was a really good match. Once again, I recommend checking it out in case you missed it. And then we get Bullet Club Gold, Switchblade Jay White, Rock Hard Juice Robinson, and the Guns, Austin and Colton, the Bang Bang Gang. They cut a very good promo. Mostly Jay White doing the talking as usual. Thought Jay White was great on the mic as well, as he usually is. And we get a recap video showing the history of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi in DDT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now AEW as the Golden Lovers. I thought it was a pretty well done video. I enjoyed this one, done very well. And then we get a promo from Katsuyori Shibata. And next up, the Hardys take on the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. Good match here. And I have to say, this one I thought was another kind of surprising upset. It is Vincent pinning Jeff Hardy, allowing the Righteous to get the win here. And then after, we get a promo, a pretty good promo from Vincent. Good match here. I'll give it 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. And we see absolute Ricky Starks in the back, upset, and he challenges him for a match next week in a Texas death match. Will actually be here in Michigan, not Detroit, but will be in Grand Rapids. Unfortunately, will not be able to attend. Well, it's kind of a long drive anyway, but maybe next time AEW makes it to Detroit, we'll be able to make it there. And our main event of Collision this week for the AEW TBS Championship, we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I know nobody can see this, but every time I say that part, I do the part with my finger too, like she does when she does the DMD. Taking on the AEW TBS champion Chris Statlander. This one was another great match here on Collision tonight. I am a big fan of both Dr. Britt Baker and Chris Statlander. And this one was a great main event. I kind of thought that the title run as TBS champion for Chris Statlander could have been coming to an end tonight in the home state of Dr. Britt Baker and at Penn State, the college she attended. And it did look like that was going to happen. The finish, we see Dr. Britt Baker lock in the lockjaw. She has it in, but Chris Statlander is able to get a roll-up, pinning Dr. Britt Baker to get the win and retain the AEW TBS Championship. So, hashtag and still TBS champion Chris Statlander. Great main event tonight. This one, awesome main event. I'll give it 4 out of 5. Ring Bells was a real big fan of this match. And this is another one on this show tonight that, in case you missed it, I definitely recommend you check it out. Actually, I recommend checking out the whole show if you missed it for some reason. So that was tonight's AEW Saturday Collision. Also, just one quick thing I forgot to mention at the end, after the main event, we saw the House of Black's Julia Hart in one of the skyboxes, I think it was, watching Chris Statlander. So that could be a future challenger that Chris Statlander will have to defend that TBS championship against. We will just have to wait and see, but I'm sure that will be a pretty good match. And don't really have a whole lot of news to talk about tonight. Not sure if I'll be doing a 360 Wrestling Fanatic episode tomorrow or not. So might not be back with Wrestling Fanatic till Monday night to talk about Raw. But I will be back tomorrow morning for the Sunday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Also now available right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to podcasts. Episode 6 of 360 Anything Goes. This week I'm talking about the Three Stooges, the short, Idiots Deluxe. Very good one. In case you have not heard the episode of Anything Goes yet, check that out, please, if you don't mind, if you have a chance to. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave your feedback on tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision in the comment section right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or whichever podcast website or app you're listening to on. And hashtag Ask360. I'm probably not going to get any questions before tomorrow morning, so I don't know why I'm even bringing it up. I tried something new, but nobody wanted to help or anything. I asked who is your favorite pro wrestler of all time, but nobody cares. For some reason, they only want to help out the good podcasts, not the bad ones like me. I know I'm not good, but that doesn't mean people can't listen. Oh, but people want to listen to the good podcasts these days, the ones that are done by celebrities, the ones that don't need the money or anything. The ones that don't need attention, that don't need any help or anything getting their podcast noticed. That people only care about famous people. They don't care about the little people these days. Sorry about that again. But, so, there probably won't be any more since nobody answered. And until next time, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.